Good evening. Welcome to the Riverhead Central School District Regular Board of Education meeting for May 6, 2025. Can I get a roll call? Thank you, Ms. Healy. Ms. Murphy? Thank you. Ms. Freeborn? Thank you. Can I get a motion to go into executive to discuss the thank you, employment of a certain person or corporation? Thank you, Ms. Murphy. A second. Thank you, Ms. Freeborn. All in favor? And motion passes, and we'll be back at 7 p.m. Good evening. Welcome back to the Riverhead Central School District May 6, 2025 meeting. Can I get a motion to return to open session? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I get a second? Thank you, Ms. Murphy. All in favor? And the motion passes. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. We have our student representative on the agenda, but we're going to skip her. She's getting ready for finals, so we can't blame her for studying. And we're going to move right to our superintendent report.
Yes, good evening, everyone. This is the most favored part of our board meeting where we get to honor our students and staff. And it is my great pleasure to introduce Roy Bucola and Jason Rodkamp, who will be speaking about one of our students we're in for a real treat tonight, who will be performing for us.
Good evening, and thank you to the board for this moment for our student. Mr. Bucola works very closely with the students, so I think it would be best to hear from him. He has a lot of insight and has been working with him since the beginning here. So, Mr. Bucola, would you like to say a few words?
All right. All right, so I met Ramion actually last year, but it was literally out of nowhere. I'm teaching my guitar class in the auditorium. He just shows up and started playing the piano while I'm doing the lesson. It was so much fun. He just took the lesson to the next level. And so he had lunch, study hall, so I got him at least twice a day, and the kids loved it, everybody loved it. And this year he's actually one of my students. And so he's also he's learning how to play the guitar, so another instrument into his repertoire. But tonight he's going to play for you. He's going to play an Adele song. He also has original music, too. So we're looking at a couple of studios. We're going to try to record some originals. If some people were here earlier, he actually played one of his originals on the set up there. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my man here, Ramion James. He's going to play some Adele for you.
Oh, one more down. I just want to, again, recognize Ramian. That was outstanding. I hope you continue to play and compose. Thank you for this wonderful treat.
Good evening. If anybody would require translation services, please see Ms. Kess in the back.
Muy buenas noches, les damos la bienvenida a la Junta Educativa del Distrito de Riverhead. Si necesitan traducción, por favor se acercan a la parte de atrás para poderles ayudar. Gracias.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Ms. Janine Campbell. She is our Director of STEM.
Thank you. Good evening, Board of Education members, District Cabinet, and Ms. Pedicic, and thank you for the opportunity to recognize some of our outstanding students. I'm going to ask Ms. Parlato to come and join me. On behalf of the Riverhead Central School District, I would like to extend our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to a remarkable group of students for their time and effort volunteering at the Earth Day celebration held on April 19th at Golden Acres Organic Farm in partnership with Slow Food East End. Your commitment to environmental stewardship and community service is truly commendable. You represent our district with pride, purpose, and positivity. I'd like to now share a few words of gratitude from Maria McBride, Chapter President of Slow Food East End. Dear Dr. Campbell, I am writing to share our gratitude for the support of your administration in providing Slow Food East End the opportunity to work with your students. The enthusiastic, on-the-spot assistance by all the students was critical to the success of our event. As an all-volunteer nonprofit, we rely on support like theirs to bring our mission to life. You should be proud of their efforts. They were wonderful ambassadors for the Riverhead School District. It was heartwarming to witness that the future of the Fork is in good hands. With regards, Maria McBride, Slow Food East End Chapter President. At this time, I would like to invite the following students to come forward to receive a certificate in recognition of their outstanding service and dedication. As I call your name, if you could just come up this way, and Ms. Parlato will hand you a certificate. If you could just stay there so we can get a picture afterward. Nicholas Gigante. Leonardo Gigante. Salvatore Zapata. Jason Brabant. Michael Brabant. Several other students could not be here this evening due to prior commitments and sport events, but I still would like to recognize them, and we will get them their certificates. Samuel Serrano Nunez, Valentina Serrano Nunez, Jackson Foss, Aiden Foss, Sarah Foss, Amini Fideli, Courtney Brennan. Thank you for all of your dedication and service. We are proud of each one of you, and congratulations.
Congratulations again. We are very proud of you, and my apologies for the introduction. It is Dr. Janine Campbell. So, Dr. Campbell, do you want to remain up here? Okay, thank you.
At this time, I would like to begin honoring one of our high school science teachers, Mr. Riley McHugh. Mr. McHugh is the proud recipient of the 2025 Long Island Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math Educational Leadership Association Listamella STEM Star Teacher Award. This prestigious award honors educators who serve as beacons of inspiration for their students. Mr. McHugh embodies this role through his unwavering commitment to Listamella's mission of providing equitable access to high-quality STEM learning opportunities. In addition to being an exemplary physics and research teacher, Mr. McHugh also serves as the advisor to the Science Olympiad Club at Riverhead High School. Through his mentorship, students are empowered to participate in intellectually challenging events that foster academic growth, character development, and civic engagement. We extend our heartfelt thanks to Mr. McHugh for his dedication to our students and the Riverhead Central School District. We congratulate him on his well-earned recognition. Mr. McHugh will also be formally honored at the Listamella Award Ceremony on May 15th. Congratulations, Mr. McHugh. We are incredibly proud of you. And we have one more treat. Next, I am honored to recognize Ms. Melanie Orlowski, one of our outstanding science teachers at the middle school. Ms. Orlowski is the recipient of the 2025 Intermediate Level Science Teacher of the Year Award from STANES, the Science Teachers Association of New York State. This award celebrates educators who are at the forefront of science education, and Ms. Orlowski exemplifies that distinction. She is widely respected by her colleagues and beloved by her students for her passion, dedication, and innovating teaching methods. She not only supports her students academically, but also goes above and beyond to nurture their social and emotional growth. Her classroom is a safe and supportive environment where students feel empowered to learn and thrive. Ms. Orlowski will be honored at the Suffolk Stannies Award Dinner on May 21st. I would like to invite up Ms. Parlato to speak also on Ms. Orlowski's behalf.
Good evening. So I prepared something. Ms. Orlowski is known for designing creative and hands-on lessons that inspire curiosity and discovery. Her signature activities include the original separating mixtures and solution labs, the density of Starburst and Hershey Bar Lab, in interactive phases of Moon Station Labs, and the Who Killed Pangea Mystery Lab. These lessons not only make science accessible, but also encourage students to think critically and apply their knowledge in meaningful ways. Her ability to make complex scientific principles tangible and engaging exemplifies the very best of science education. Ms. Orlowski's classroom is a model of excellence where positivity and encouragement drive student success. She says, "I always tell my students they must be positive like a proton," as said Ms. Orlowski. Ms. Orlowski exemplifies this spirit in every aspect of her teaching. She creates an environment where students feel safe to explore, ask questions, and collaborate. She's a beacon of inspiration for both students and colleagues, embodying the passion, dedication, and innovation that define the very best educators. I just want to congratulate Ms. Orlowski as being recognized and awarded as the Suffolk Science Teachers Association of New York State Intermediate Level Science Teacher of the Year.
Congratulations again. We also know that many of our students are up very early, so you are certainly welcome to remain, but if you would like to leave at this time, we will not be insulted, so thank you.
As Ms. Pedicic said, this is the best part of the meeting when you get to see and recognize all our students for their talents and the accolades that they received during the year, and for the staff for all the hard work that they do. So it is, as you said, it is definitely the best part of the meetings. Now we're going to go on to the public hearing for the proposed 25-26 school budget, and Dr. Cardesano is going to give that presentation.
Good evening. This budget hearing is a requirement of education law. The information contained in this presentation is data that we have spoken about over the past 2 months. There are a lot of numbers that I will present tonight, which is legally required, so we constructed a handout that's been provided by the district clerk in both English and Spanish for you to follow along. As soon as this new, Eric, I'm pushing again. So how are you, Jim?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
Good, Matt?
How was your weekend?
Good. Matt, good game today? Game today. Yep. Good game today, Cynthia? Certainly was. Okay. And it was working before? Oh. Back it up. So you can hold the clicker, Vanna, and we'll do this together, because it's called teamwork.
It just brings me back to my childhood when I was the clicker for my father when he would watch TV.
Yes. Get up and change the channel. Okay, so we're going to go back. Okay, go forward one. I know you can do this. All right. So the proposed budget for 25-26 has been board adopted, and that is $211 million. The voter-approved budget for 24-25 was $201 million. We have been discussing for the past several months that this represents a $9.9 million increase, which is a 4.95% budget increase. As per New York State education law, the budget is broken down into 5 sections: general support, instruction, transportation, community service, and undistributed. As we've discussed, undistributed is a very fancy word or a phrase for benefits and bonds. So when you look at this budget and you see out of the $9.9 million, $7.7 million is directly related to instruction. What that includes is our gen ed programs, our special ed programs, and everything else that goes to support the classroom, athletics, the arts, and clubs. When you couple that with the benefits and bonds, which is undistributed, that is $1.1 million. And then when you add in student transportation of $600,000, you can see $9.5 million of this budget is directly going to students' programs. So that is why we have been saying for the past couple of months during these presentations that it's our belief that this is an instruction-based budget that is coupled with a sound financial plan. State law also requires us to shuffle those numbers into 3 other categories, which is called 3-part component budget. And basically what it does is just gives us another view of the same exact numbers. So we have the administrative component, the instructional component, and the capital component. And when you look at this, you can see out of $9.9 million that 9.4 is going directly to instructional programs, which represents about 6%. So that view of the budget also shows us the direction that this budget was built. And not so easy, is it, Eric? Go ahead. Click. There we go. Okay. This is our revenue plan, and revenues are fluid. And what that means is that the state aid comes in at a higher number, we will reduce another number within the revenue plan. But overall, although the components of the revenue plan can change, the bottom line number cannot change, and that will remain $211 million. We are anticipating $86 million in state aid. If you followed along over the past couple of months, we are still waiting for a state budget that was due on April 1st. We anticipate by the end of this week or the beginning of next week, we may have some state aid numbers, but regardless, we will stay with this, this framework. You will see that there's other sources of revenue that we have, whether it's tuition or interest, or we apply monies from reserves. You'll also see that there's a $5.1 million anticipated pilot payments that come from the school district, for the school district. Those are payments in lieu of taxes. When you add all that up, it's $101 million. The difference to make up the $211 million is the monies we will collect from taxes and STAR. And so it's very important that we repeat that taxes based on the tax cap formula will be 2.16%, which is what the formula allows. We understand we need to budget within our constraints. And from the beginning, the direction from the board was that we would not pierce the cap, which is to charge our community more money than what the formula allows. So we are very, very positive about that. Believe it or not, that is about 8 months' worth of work in 5 slides. This is, a fiscally responsible plan for the community, and, we're asking for your support of this educational plan. All of the budget documents that we maintain online have been updated and are available, and they will be, actually, we leave them up the whole year, but if anybody has any questions, certainly you can take a look at that and respond to us. And the last thing that I will plug for the very last time is that with the board's support, we have moved the budget vote to one location this year based on safety and security, which will be at the high school rather than where it's been at the 4 elementary schools for the last couple of years. So based on safety and security, we will be here at the high school. Residents will come in one door and out another door, and they will be blocked off without any interaction with students. Okay, 7 months of work. Does the board have any questions? Okay, thank you very much for your.
Well,
oh, go ahead.
First, I'd just like to thank you for all your work. All these budget workshops were all very detailed, and the fact that they're all on the website for everyone to see is really transparent for the community. So that start by just first of all thanking you for that.
You're welcome.
I do have one question.
Here it comes.
No, that's not. So there is sometimes some talk in the community, and it happens every year, and it has happened this year too, of people saying that there is money in this budget, as in past budgets, they've said the same thing, for past administrators who no longer work here. Can you speak to that? Is there any money, any line in this budget that pays for people who are no longer working here on the administrative level?
So there's a lawyer in the room, so I'm going to make sure that I keep this as a very global response. There has been the unfortunate situation, in my opinion, professionally, that you have had separation agreements with prior, I'm going to be very specific, central office administrators or building administrators. There are no legacy benefits for any of those employees that you had termination contracts with or those that resigned. So for example, there are no payouts in this budget for any of those employees. There are no legacy benefits, which means, are we paying somebody's health insurance into retirement? And the answer to that is no. This board has been very clear about not having future budgets bear the burden of some other decisions. So no, there are no legacy benefits. There are no salary payouts for anybody that falls into that category, without a doubt.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you very much for your continued support.
Thank you, Dr. Carstano. Do we have any public comments on the agenda items?
I'm Bob Brown, Fernandez, Riverside. You talked about things, community responses. There were some community questions that they wanted answered. This executive director for elementary education, director of humanities and math, science and STEM support roles for elementary schools are critical to student success. The elimination in this board's agenda raises a pressing question. Why were these specific positions chosen for budget cuts when they directly impact teaching and learning? Number two, Riverhead School District has been designated by the New York State Education Department as a district in need of improvement due to low performance. With 3 out of the 6 schools currently on the state's accountability list, given this reality, shouldn't strengthening teaching and curriculum support be a top priority rather than eliminating it? This budget hearing might present a critical moment for transparency, yet the decision to eliminate essential teaching and learning support roles at the district level, which are responsibilities of central office, was not presented earlier in the April-May agenda. Why was such an impactful decision not disclosed sooner for the proper discussion and evaluation? With 2 eliminating schools, with 2 elementary schools and Pulaski on the state accountability list, what comprehensive plans are in place to address this status? More importantly, without district-level support, how will central office ensure schools receive direct, on-the-ground assistance? That's from the community. And I was wondering, the statement, abolish positions for the purpose of accessing. I don't understand. What does that mean?
Hear me? Okay. So oftentimes, school districts will face an economic downturn or redundancies to get too many positions. And so what they'll do is they'll abolish a position, which means the position is eliminated from the structure of the school district, and then the individual who previously held that position is accessed, which is just a public sector term for a layoff. The person's been laid off. They're being let go for reasons of economy or efficiency in the organization.
I don't like saying this, but I've been a resident of Riverhead for almost over 80 years. And I've seen this happen before, in many different instances. It's a smokescreen, and I can see people eliminated from positions that do a job and do it well, but they're excess because of other reasons. And growing up in this community has given me a sense of inherent paranoia. I'm paranoid. And I've seen things, ugly things happen to good people in this community, and it irks me, it bothers me. And I always had the hope and the prayer that my children and grandchildren would grow up in a different community. But it doesn't seem like it's happening. I think they just changed their clothes. You know, they're the same people, and the same results are coming in. I can see it in the school, I can see it in town hall, I can see it in the police department. It's prevalent here in Riverhead.
Hi, Bubby. Thank you for your comments. We appreciate that. The decision was a very, very difficult one. It was definitely budgetary, but I will let you know that we are restructuring, particularly at the secondary level, where we will have chair people in each of the major academic areas, working with our staff to provide the support in math, science, social studies, English, and foreign language. At the elementary level, we are adding an additional literacy coach to provide direct support to the students and the teachers. So there is definitely a plan in place to address the loss of these positions. We do understand that the people who have been providing this support have done a wonderful job. And it was definitely a budgetary piece, but we also are doing some restructuring to provide more direct support.
Didn't we have a similar conversation last year about the dual education of the kids of Spanish and in the lower classrooms? That worked out fine. That worked out. Okay? When you have a problem in your community, you figure out how it's done. When it's in my community, you say why it can't be done. That's the way it is. You tell me why it can't be done. But if it was your problem, you would figure out a way to get it done.
I'm not really sure what you mean. We're all the same community, it's Riverhead. So I'm not really sure what can you speak specifically to what you mean? I'm not sure what you mean.
No.
I think one thing we could say is this: we've discussed this in length. We believe the chairpersonship is a better direction to go for the schools. The chair people are people that have been in the classroom, and they're better to direct their departments. That was part of the restructuring. The literacy component, we all really believe is really important, and part of what, as you had mentioned before, is being some of our schools being labeled as low performance. If you look at those grade 3 through 8 tests, any teacher that administers those tests will tell you, whether it's science or math, it's reading comprehension. So even the math tests are full of reading comprehension. So if we believe if we can improve our literacy program, we can improve those scores in 3 through 8.
I'm talking to the board and everybody in this room. What I say, there's no animosity at all in my thoughts. I've been working with the school system here in Riverhead since 2002. I've run programs in this school. I love this school. I'm a graduate of Riverhead High School, the proud class of 1958. And all I want is improvement. But one of the things that I ran for the school board here. God smiled on me and I lost. I was concerned about the minority kids in this community not getting, they weren't exposed to successful people that look like them. They could go from kindergarten to graduation and never see a black teacher, administrator, or anything. So the K-4 school principals met with me, and Nancy Carney was the administrator at the time. They allowed me to have 4 programs a year to have minority speakers come and speak to the 4th graders. They bused all of the 4th graders from the 4 elementary schools to the high school. Positive black images, policemen, doctors, financial advisors. One of the speakers was a Dr. Marshall Jones, who was a graduate of Riverhead High School, class of 61, I believe, who grew up on a duck ranch in Aquabo that just got rid of all of those eggs and ducks and stuff. He grew up on that duck ranch. 2017, he was inducted into the National Inventors Hall of Fame. This is a graduate that grew up on a farm. And he used to come from Schenectady every year, sometimes twice a year. And he said, Bubby, if I can't spend all day with the kids, I'm not coming. And he would come down, he had 20 minutes to talk to the 4th graders, but he would not come until there was a day where he could spend all day with the students. And that's the kind of dedication that we had in this program. And I just want improvement for all of the kids in this community. And I think that one of the things, if our history is just polluted with incomplete history programs, and if kids don't know exactly what is going on, if it's not passed on from generation to generation, it's going to repeat itself. And I want the kids of Riverhead to be the best. When I read Newsday about the athletic programs, I'm looking for Riverhead. When they put out scholarships in Suffolk County, I want to see Riverhead. I see the track team, I want to see Riverhead. I want it for all of it. I'm only looking for the best of Riverhead.
Bubby, we are also looking for that. We are also committed to that. And I know you resurrected the program this year, and thank you for doing that for our 4th graders. That was amazing, and we hope to continue that program. But we do have a plan in place, and we will continue to make improvements. That is a promise that we have made and a commitment from this Board of Education and from the administration.
Do we have any other public comments on the agenda items? Do we have any online? Seeing none online? Okay. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda? Motion. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Redmond. Questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Excuse me. Moving on to new business. Letter A is the second and final reading of the revised board policy 5300, the Code of Conduct. 5300 Code of Conduct, 5300E.1, the Exhibit Parent Acknowledgement and Agreement, and 5300E.2, Exhibit 2020 Profile of Gang Members in Suffolk County. Can I get a motion to accept the second reading? Thank you, Ms. Murphy. A second? Thank you, Ms. Freeborn. Questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter B, this is approval of an MOA with the Riverhead Central School District Teachers Aides. This is for an extension of the CSEA Employee Benefit Fund. This is really for dental benefit. Can I get a motion to accept? Thank you, Ms. Murphy. A second? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter C, to accept the results of the special district meeting for the libraries for the Riverhead. The number 1 is for the Riverhead Free Library, and number 2 is for the Baiting Hollow Free Library. Can I get a motion to accept the results? Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Second? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter D, standard workday. This is for employees on these various titles that are listed with their standard workday hours. Can I get a motion to accept? Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Second? Thank you, Ms. Freeborn. Questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter E, this is approval of consultant service agreements with the Hope Squad. Can I get a motion to accept? Thank you, Ms. Murphy. A second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter F, appointment for the vote workers for the annual budget vote and Board of Ed members on May 20th, 2025. Again, just to reiterate what Dr. Carter-Sano said, it will be at the budget vote will be at the high school this year. Can I get a motion to accept for the poll workers? Thank you, Ms. Murphy. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Redmond. Questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Letter G, approval of contracts. There are 3. So the first one is for pest management that was given to Bug Fighters. It was a good name for a company, I guess. The second is for envelope printing that was given to Print Corp. And the third one is for CCTV systems, security equipment installation, repair, and maintenance that was given to Millennium Systems. Can I get a motion to accept? Motion. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Second? Thank you, Ms. Murphy. Questions, comments? All in favor? And the motion passes. Do we have any committees? We have the Wellness Committee? Was that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, we do. The Wellness Committee met on April 29th for the final meeting of the 2024-25 school year. Food Services Director Keith Graham provided an update on kitchen projects, noting that plans for Riley Avenue School have been revised due to space limitations. The new design places the freezer and refrigerator outside the kitchen to maximize interior space. He also addressed the community eligibility provision, explaining that the proposed state budget includes funding for universal free breakfast and lunch. If this funding is not approved, our schools will remain CEP designated and will continue to provide meals through USDA support. The district has received full funding in recent years and is awaiting confirmation for next year. Keith provided an update on the Town of Riverhead recycling program. Last year, the Long Island Organic Council and the Town of Riverhead approached the district to launch a pilot food waste recycling initiative at Riley Avenue Elementary. Under this program, food scraps were collected and delivered to the high school, where the town picked them up weekly for composting. The program was successful, and this year Mr. Graham proposed expanding it to all 7 schools. After the town was unable to provide additional recycling buckets and they could not be secured locally, Mr. Graham purchased 2 per building through Granger. The High School Maker Club designed custom logos for each bucket, further engaging students. Just want to show you them. Our students made this. Isn't that terrific? Is that so nice? It really is. It's so impressive. I was really impressed when I saw over a bucket, I know. And Mr. Graham called to inform the town that we were ready to expand the program.
he received an email saying the program was being discontinued. The town stated economic reasons for ending this initiative, noting they had made the decision months earlier, but hadn't informed the district. Town Supervisor Timothy Hubbard later left a voicemail acknowledging that while the program was working well, the town could no longer handle collection from the high school once a week. If the district wishes to continue, it will now need to take responsibility for transporting the food scraps to the composting site. We have a lot of these buckets. They're really lovely buckets made by our students. Moving on. Tina Marie Rickmers provided updates from the registration and social work departments. The weekend backpack program currently supports 160 students. Aquabog Elementary is implementing emotional regulation centers and planning a family yoga event. Phillips Avenue launched a student leadership initiative called Santa's Helpers, and the Riverhead Middle School is promoting mental health awareness through student and parent programs. UPK registration has been very successful, with 175 students enrolled and 9 program sites now operating, with some offering aftercare. A new virtual professional development initiative is also in place for special education and UPK aides, using Vector Solutions to provide training outside of work hours. Daria Hagermeyer from Special Education shared projections for the next year. Expanded services include full-day ICT with TA support, new 1511 sections for grades K through 1, a new ICT Algebra 2 class, and the Spire reading program at the high school. Speech pathologists will begin universal kindergarten screens, and a new 1211 behavior support class is being added at Pulaski. Dan Hull reported that nurses are finishing mandated screenings. The district has made great strides in vaccine compliance this year, avoiding steep fines and ensuring students are ready to start school. Families are contacted multiple times over the summer with reminders. He also shared a recent incident where quick action by nursing staff successfully managed a severe allergy emergency involving a student who did not have an EpiPen order on file. Brian Sachs highlighted recent physical education events, including the high school's Marine Challenge and Spring Sports Media Day. Gym floor refinishing at Riley and the middle school was also completed. Finally, Emily Sands shared updates from community outreach. Planning is underway for next year's Hispanic Heritage Celebration. Students have been actively involved in DEI efforts and will have a dedicated outreach committee next year. The Student Climate Survey has been distributed, and parent information sessions for the dual language programs are being scheduled. Looking ahead, Dr. Ronnie suggested the committee review student wellness policy 5405 next year, with potential updates to include mental health. That concludes the Wellness Committee update. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Redmond. Do we have any board member remarks?
I would like to say Happy Teacher Appreciation Day. Today is National Teacher Appreciation Day to all of our wonderful educators. I know that, being a teacher isn't just in the classroom. It goes a lot beyond that, 24/7. I'm communicating with my children's teachers on the weekends, and we are so lucky to have these amazing teachers in our district, and so grateful for all that they give to our kids.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I would also like to, thank Dan Hickey, the head custodian at the high school, for bringing Ramion James to our attention. For many of us, you get up in the morning, dog made a mess, coffee's cold, traffic, and when Dan comes to work in the morning, he gets to hear Ramion play music, and it starts his day off in the right way. So while Ramion's no longer here, I just wanted to thank him for bringing artistry and beauty to ordinary days.
Any other board member remarks?
I just want to say congratulations to the last few weeks. We've had a couple of student athletes that have been recognized in the paper for getting some pretty nice awards, so congratulations to them.
Yes, absolutely. And I think also yesterday, was school nurse? Was it yesterday?
Sorry.
Oh, it's the whole week?
Actually, it begins tomorrow
Okay.
and runs through the week. Yes.
Yeah, so thank you
congratulations
to all our
our
nurses
nurses.
who, I don't know how they do what they do.
Absolutely.
Ms. Redmond, can you hold up that bucket one more time?
Yeah, it's a great bucket.
Mr. Rockham, bucket drumming opportunity.
Right?
There you go.
We've got a lot of them, and and again, this is an incredible program. What the students are able to do here at the high school. I know that many months ago, when we had our when it was board appreciation, a lot of the mugs and wonderful gifts we were given were made by our students, and you can even see in the hallways when you go up the stairs. All the words of inspiration. Again, that club does that, and so many thanks to them for our buckets and everything they do.
Yeah, very cool.
And we will be continuing the program despite the lack of support. But this district is committed to the program and to the students.
Do we have any other board remarks? Moving on to RCFA.
Good evening, Gregory Wallace, RCFA, Calverton. So, again, recognizing the school nurses, the school nurses have really become the frontline healthcare for a lot of our students. And they, day in and day out, they serve the students, and they do an amazing job. I'd like to recognize again Riley McHugh and Melanie Orlowski for their awards. They're outstanding, dedicated teachers. And I would be remiss if I didn't, personally thank Riley McHugh and Brian Cunningham. They're both physics teachers with me. And, my real job, the one that's there to meet my students, give my students extra help while I'm out doing the union's business. So they don't have to do that, but they do it because they're dedicated to the students, and I would not be able to fulfill this role and meet the obligations I have to my students without their assistance. So I'd like to recognize them. Matt Zambrisky was selected as Newsday Athlete of the Week and Access Baseball Player of the Week after he threw the first perfect game in school history against Central Islip. Matt retired 21 consecutive batters over 7 innings, 16 strikeouts, needing only 75 pitches, 65 of which were strikes. It was an amazing feat, and it took the boys a little while to process what a perfect game actually means. So he retired every batter he faced, and he's a remarkable young man with an incredible arm. So this weekend was the NYSET Resident Assembly, and I don't know if anybody's familiar with the NYSET Resident Assembly. It is the most important policy-making body of the state union. And the RCFA wrote 2 resolutions that were co-sponsored by 20 locals across Nassau and Suffolk. And we were able to get both resolutions passed unanimously, which now means, since those resolutions were passed at the NYSET RA, they now become part of NYSET's agenda to advocate statewide. The first resolution was accessing funding for universal pre-K. Our UPK program here has been incredibly successful, but it's funded through grants. And grants change, or if your state aid changes, your grant funding changes. And Middle Country, which has had a very successful pre-K program for years, because the funding hasn't changed, there's now having to make a choice. Do we keep our pre-K program robust, or do we start cutting from the secondary level? When we have a robust pre-K program, it allows us to identify needs that children have, and then we can get interventions for them sooner. And what that ends up doing is that it reduces special education costs long term. So the UPK program, a successful UPK program, will result in a net savings to the taxpayer in the out budget years. The second resolution that was passed unanimously was the calling for fiscal accountability for charter schools. We passed a resolution that says the charter schools should face the same level of financial scrutiny as public schools. Taxpayers in New York have the right to know where their money is being spent, and we are lobbying for legislation at the state level to see that it happens. I just want to parlay a little bit on what Mr. Brown said. And, you know, this standardized testing push has really accomplished what the goal was, because the standardized testing was never about the students. The standardized testing was about creating market share for privatization of public education. You know, it was a way to tell communities that there was a metric to show that their students and their schools were less than. And I think we are being labeled as low-performing schools, but I beg to differ that our schools are low-performing. Our students are more than a score. Our teachers are more than a score. We provide a safe learning environment for students, many of whom live well below the poverty level. When students come to our school, they are fed. Some of the students, their only hot meal of the day comes from our school. And I just think that the standardized testing paradigm has damaged public education. If you walk through the halls and you see the work that our teachers are doing with students, our schools are not low performing. I don't care what the state says. Thank you.
Do we have any comments from Ra? No comments from Ra? Do we have any public comments?
Eva Roberts, Riverhead. Eva June Roberts. I wanted to propose, let me say, within the past month, I spoke here before this board about my concerns regarding transportation securements, especially students with disabilities, but it also applies maybe to students who may be transported in a vehicle outside of district. So I wanted to make a proposal. The proposal would be, because I was looking over our notes here, that if the superintendent can propose a policy that before driving the vehicle, that the person who was going to be driving the vehicle would be given the vehicle manual for that vehicle, time to read it during work hours, with time allowed for the driver to read the manual. Now, today, several children were driven in it's considered a school bus, but it's a Ford Escape 2013. And they ended up in that vehicle, well, two things. One is the seat belt. I don't know what you know, but the seat belt is not supposed to go against the children's neck. But this happened today in this district as a very vivid example. Fortunately, there was not an accident. There was no crash. Now, if one reads, and I don't have copies for all of you, but I can get all of you copies. But if you read the child safety section of the vehicle manual, it states that small children who have that are a certain size which these were, must use a belt positioning booster seat. It's right there. So I recommend as part of this policy that a list be maintained of those who have had the opportunity to read that, and also have had an opportunity to read the equipment.
Ms. Roberts, your 3 minutes is up, so.
Okay, anyhow, so that's the idea, is that if we could have people reading the booster seat guide, for example, and being knowledgeable to use it. I'm proposing this policy be, or something like it, so that our kids are safer. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comments? Do we have any online comments? Seeing no more comments from the public, I got a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Second. Thank you, Ms. Murphy. All in favor? And the motion passes. Thank you.
Please help support the Riverhead Central School District YouTube channel by subscribing. If you are not already subscribed to this channel, please be sure to push that subscribe button and click the bell to receive notifications. Thank you.